Hello. So I just finished A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, and I needed to talk about it because I'm feeling all the things, and I wanted to talk about it. I need to do more reviews. I wanted to do more book reviews on this channel for the rest of the year, so I'm gonna try to do that. So yes, this 720-page book took me a month to read, and that's because I was busy and because this is an emotional story. It deals with these four characters that met in college and follows them through middle age, and it's Jude, JB, Willem, and Malcolm, and we get their entire story. It focuses mainly on Jude, and then we get the rest of the three characters' stories throughout, their own chapters and through his telling us about them as well. So it's very interwoven, and we get people that he, meets as well in certain chapters and their points of view, and it's so stellar. It's just like a character study. That's really what this book is. It's about this. So Jude, the character that it centers around, he went through like so much childhood trauma, and it's layer by layer it's revealed to us, and it's a lot of childhood sexual abuse, and um, he deals with psychological abuse because he's trying to suppress that. So we learn about what happened to him throughout this. Like towards the end, you're still kind of really getting coming to terms with what happened to him, and you don't like. I don't feel like you'll. That's not the point of this book. It's not for you to get the whole story because he chooses what to tell you, but it's the damage that abuse can do to you, and especially abuse at such a young age, and like how that affects you throughout your life, and feeling not worthy of anything that you work hard for or comes to you in the later years of your life, because that's something that he deals with a lot. Jude doesn't think that he deserves the friends that he has, the jobs that he gets, the amount of love that is directed at him. He thinks that he's not worthy of that because of what happened to him in the past. And it's so sorrow, like it just fills me with so much sorrow and sadness, and like there's times where I was like, I was turning pages because I wanted to know what happened, but I was also wary as I was doing it because I was like, oh god, what other horrible thing are we gonna discover? um Not to say that this is all despair and sad moments. There's a lot of anger as just like a lot. I think it's like a lot of like rash emotion while I was reading this. It's a lot of anger because you're like, why do you like you're trying to justify why he feels a certain way, but like if you've personally never gone through what he went through, or your own kind of abuse, which might be hard for someone that has gone through that to read this, then you won't be able to really know his mind space and where he's at. And spoilers and stuff, of course, because it's hard to talk about this and not spoil it. But he deals he self harms, so it's very descriptive of his headspace and that. And sometimes he'll harm himself when things are going great and people are like being super amazing, and he just thinks he doesn't deserve it, so it's his way of like bringing himself back to a low place. And it just makes you really think about like what has happened to him for him to really have self internalize that and get him to the point where he doesn't believe that he deserves any of the happiness that he's acquired at this point. And when it comes to the other characters, Malcolm is an architect, and he, like, his love of wanting to make homes for his friends and for the people that he works for is something that really stood out for me, even though he's one of the minor characters for me. And towards the end, we really get a sense of how much of him, like his he was of an important character, in everything, and just again how intertwined these characters are. And JB is an artist, and he paints, and he would take photographs of Jude and Willem and Malcolm and things in his life, and or paint them from memory. And then he started having galleries, and that's how he became known. And his depictions, like the descriptions of them, I feel like I could see them. Like the descriptions that Hanya does, she's so good. She's so good at describing what the art is, because towards the end we get one of his last galleries that were described, that are described to us as a reader. And I just felt like I could just go through JB's entire life and really get where he was coming from, because his life is very much like he's the outspoken, outlandish one, and he bottled up a lot, and like he had his own drug abuse that he went through. And yeah, like no character is perfect, and I think that's something that this book really highlights, is life isn't cut clean, and like everyone is a mess and has their past, that even as we try to portray it as everything's happy-go-lucky, and even if you've worked hard and things might be good now, it's not that easy to just forget what happened to you in the past. But yeah, and then the last character I was detailing their current jobs. Willem is an actor, so he puts himself full force into every acting job that he gets. He really encompasses and becomes a different character, and it was really, at first I was like, is he like committed to this? And then as you like get to see his point of view and learn how much he really loves to learn about a new craft for whatever project he's in, you really see how much he cares about his like art. And that's so awesome. And with Jude, he's a lawyer, and while he doesn't think that he's worthy of like that, or that he, not that he doesn't think he's worthy, he doesn't think that the work he does at the law firm is of any merit. Like he knows he's doing good, but he still is like, it's just a job. I'm just just putting down the law or whatever the jargon is. And if that, like, it's not enough for him, it's just like and other characters are Harold and Julia, who become his adoptive parents, and they're such a vital, important part of this as well. And Harold has some POV chapters as well, which are really important because they really get us to see, like, from an outsider perspective, looking in, and kind of like we would be the Harold, sorry, in this situation maybe. So it's so interesting. And then Andy is one of his main doctors, and the only one that he like really trusts to see all the harm that he's done to his body. And we get more like of the detail of like what he's physically doing to himself and all of the things that do happen to him as the story goes on. But yes, I don't want to ramble on and on. I just needed to get out what I was initially feeling, because I literally just finished this like less than 30 minutes ago. So yeah, and I had a passage that I wanted to read because I thought it was so good. There's so many good passages in this, if I'm being completely real. And let's see if I can find the one that I wanted to read. One quote was, be as steely as you want to be. Don't try to get people to like you. Never try to make yourself more palatable in order to make your colleagues more comfortable. And I'm just like, ain't that the truth? Because I feel like we try to like shift ourselves to this, like what we think is normal, what we want to portray ourselves as to people that don't really know us. And it's just like, be you, do you. But yeah, there's one that I posted on Instagram that's just like about the sadness of life, and I was like, this is too real. So yeah, that passage is, he looked at Jude, and this is Willem's point of view. He looked at Jude then, and he felt that same sensation he sometimes did when he thought really thought of Jude and what his life had been. A sadness, he might have called it. But it wasn't a pitying sadness, it was a larger sadness. One that seemed to encompass all the poor, striving people, the billions he didn't know, all living their lives. A sadness that mingled with a wonder and awe at how hard humans everywhere try to live, even when their days were so very difficult, even when their circumstances were so wretched. Life is so sad, he would think in those moments. It's so sad, and yet we all do it. We all cling to it. We all search for something to give us solace. And the entire book is filled with like so much introspective passages like this, and just beautiful conversations between people and people that just care for each other so much. And it's just like a wonderful depiction of like life. And something I was thinking about as I was writing my Goodreads review was the like title "A Little Life Itself," and how I feel like in the context of this book it might refer to how each character thinks that their life is so small and insignificant to themselves, but to each other and to everyone that encompasses their circle and their bubble of friends and family, they're such a larger than life character and person. So like their lives actually aren't that little. I mean, the context of, things, and in the context of all our lives, and 7 billions of us, like we're just one person, but like the thing that matters is that you matter to others, and that people care for you, and you love other people, and that you will always have that back and forth with the people that you care about. But yeah, all the deep thoughts. Let me know if you've read this and if you've stayed through all my rambling, because yeah, I'm feeling emotions. And yeah, alright, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.